Whoa, we're live. Hey guys, my name is Chris Banks. I'm with Pyramid Analytics. It is a pleasure to be here with our launch of Analytics Unplugged. And I want to introduce to you two gentlemen that are here with us to talk a little bit about Gartner. We've got Mike Fennell and Brian McCormick. Guys, introduce yourselves with your titles and all of that.
So it's been a while since Brian and I have been referred to as gentlemen, so thank you for that. So SVP Revenue Marketing and Business Development here at Pyramid. I've been here for about a year and a half, and I live in the sprawling metropolis of New Hampshire.
Brian McCormick, SVP of Global Sales, reside in Cincinnati, Ohio. Have been here at Pyramid about 2.5 years, and I've been in the analytics space for just over 2 decades. Happy to be here. Thanks, Chris, for hosting.
Thank you. And if you guys aren't aware who Pyramid Analytics is, we are a leader in decision intelligence. We have an amazing decision intelligence platform that combines the very best of data prep, business analytics, and data science. And that's the last plug I'm going to make on this, because this is Analytics Unplugged. We're going to have a very frank conversation. My two friends here have no idea what I'm going to be asking them. And I want to start right off the get-go. There's a lot of buzz, guys, that's going on with Gartner right now. The Magic Quadrant came out a couple of weeks ago, followed by the Critical Capabilities Report. A lot of great things around Pyramid Analytics with that. But before we even get to that, I want to talk a little bit about the Gartner Data and Analytics Summit. Both of you attended. So what was the vibe like there, guys? Brian, we'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is probably my 13th or 14th Gartner event that was focused on analytics. It's been a couple of years since I've been to it with COVID and everything. It was great to see, 4,500 attendees that were in one room, all talking about analytics. Just great content from all the vendors as well. I probably attended about 10 to 12 different breakout sessions, and it was great to see just how AI and augmented analytics are all coming to the business, and really how the users are interacting with that technology to drive more insights from it. It was just overall, I would say, one of my top 3 Gartner events that I have ever been to. So it was just amazing.
Outstanding. Wow, top 3. I want to know what those other 2 were. Mike, what did you think about the conference?
Yeah, I think, so last year I was at the London event. So, I did not attend in North America. And if I do kind of the seat of the pants measurement, if you will, on a year-over-year basis, the attendance was great, of course, but then I just think where we are, at the risk of plugging Pyramid, from a growth perspective, there's just a lot more awareness in the marketplace for us, which makes it a pretty exciting time to be here at Pyramid, to be honest. It's always nice to, get with the Gartner folks and get to meet with them. And, candidly, it's always nice when we have some folks come into our booth where Gartner analysts are sending them over, because there's a need that we can likely fill. The energy was awesome, I think, is what you're asking, right? I mean, we were breakneck pace at the booth, is maybe the easy way to say it. There's a lot of jokes internally that we're going to have to put IVs into our solutions engineers on a go forward basis, because they were nonstop at the booth, to the point where we're almost having to bring them lunch and feed them intravenously. But the feel is good. The buzz at Pyramid from it is really exciting. And I think it was a great event for us.
Awesome. So the conference itself in Orlando was, I guess, about a month ago, back in March. I know a lot of the attendees were hoping for the big announcement of the MQ. Certainly came post the event. But what were the big takeaways that you would say that people have walked away with in attending the summit?
Mike, you want to take that one? Go.
Yeah, I think that there is, there's a blog that I put out that there's this kind of paradigm that seems to be shifting, and I think that sums it up. But there definitely seems to be a lot going in our space where through the state of innovation that, I think smaller, more agile, up and coming companies like us have, they're being looked at a lot more seriously than maybe they were a couple of years ago. Actually, Super Data Brothers did a good session, I know, Brian, last week or the week before, on their take just on the MQ, and kind of said something similar, which is always a good thing. I think some of the big things that are coming is just with AI gaining a tremendous amount of momentum. Where is that going to take us? I know one of the analysts were presenting when he did the MQ presentation, and there was this kind of unknown on what's going to happen with ChatGPT and how is that going to innovate in the marketplace. And I think that has cause for excitement on what that could bring to analytics, BI, decision intelligence for the future. So for me, that's probably one big gigantic takeaway. And then I think another big one is the fact that more and more people we were talking to, at least at the event, if I go back to the last one I was at, less folks that were interested in how do I get my users to be true analytics users, true data users. And I think that there's been a drastic shift in the marketplace over the past couple of years where more organizations want to give those analytics to the end users so they can actually drive the business on their own.
Awesome. How about you, Brian? What do you think the big takeaway was from the conference?
Yeah, I think the big takeaway for me was, along with the MQ presentation that Mike mentioned, was just the evolution of the human or the individual now that's interfacing with data. They're coming to the enterprise, they're coming to the workforce super educated about data, right? And if I think about all the years I've had in the analytics space, this is probably the most exciting time in terms of change and what the consumer is demanding from the vendor, because they're not coming to work the first day with talking about like, what is BI or how do I use data? They already are using data at their fingertips outside of the enterprise, and that's only going to drive more innovation from vendors and needs from the end users that we're going to have to respond to. So,
excellent. So I'm going to take us down a rabbit hole because I can. Mike, you mentioned ChatGPT, and I've got a 12-year-old son who just discovered ChatGPT and asked for a 500-word essay on something, and magically this was created for him. And I'm like, oh, here we go with the internet. But from a business standpoint, where are you thinking ChatGPT is going to help organizations?
So organizationally, you mean beyond analytics, I assume?
Yeah.
I mean, the sky's the limit, right? I mean, in marketing, I talk to folks now that are, running some of their email marketing, whether this is right, wrong, TBD on that, but that they're actually taking a look at leveraging solutions like that to be able to get emails that hit the mark out at a broader scale. If you think about just the editorial process on anything that marketing puts together, it saves a lot of that. If nothing else, I think it gets a good foundation of a starting block built. I think there's a piece for technologies like that from a sales perspective. One of the companies we do business with, 6 Sense, not that I'm trying to plug them, but they launched this AI-driven email about a year ago. And there's just an interesting use in technology from a marketing and sales perspective. I think, who was I on with the other day where we had a discussion about, maybe it was with Dave Henry, Brian, but where can this go from an analytics perspective? And, I'm just a simple marketing guy. I can't even wrap my head around where that could go from an analytics perspective as you turn AI loose on, developing analysis. So the broader scheme of things, I think it's an exciting time in the marketplace with AI, leading the charge.
And how about you, Brian? I mean, you're closer to engagements with organizations. Where are you seeing the chat GPT?
It's super early. It is, finding its way into conversations because of just how intuitive it is and just, kind of game changing as well. But it's not, I think that as an engine is interesting, but how that is tied into other products and then expanded upon is really what I think will be interesting over the next 6 to 9 months. It by itself as a service is interesting, but then combining that with not just how it computes, but then also with your enterprise data, and it allows you to get to answers faster and insights faster, and how we build that into Pyramid and also into other platforms as a future roadmap and how we'll leverage it. Again, I think that could, in the next 2 years, change the way that we make decisions based on some AI portions of the answer, right?
And how quickly we got the hooks and layers into that too within our platform, which always amazes me with our development team. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch that. No, we're going to.
Sorry. I mean, some of the analysts were saying exactly that. Like, it's where this could go from an analyst perspective is, there's a roadmap, but it's kind of who the hell knows, right?
It's also scary. It's also scary too, right? I mean,
there are a lot of conspiracy theories floating around on it, right?
Hey, ex machina. I'm worried. That's all I'm going to say. big props to our team. We had a few sessions going on. There was a fireside chat session that was going on with our VP of product marketing. And there was also a theater session with one of our SE managers. Tell me about that, guys, because I understand that was one of the biggest received sessions of the Gartner conference.
Brian, you want to take it?
Sure, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, the Augmented Analytics Evolve or Die was the title of it. And Joe Bobian from Pyramid is the one that put that session on. It was the most attended session there at Gartner, which is just great to see what people are looking for still, which is just looking for, self-service has been talked about for a long time, right? Augmented analytics is the next generation of self-service, right? How do I continue to do less clicks and continue to get more insights out of, the platform that I'm using to access my data? And then how do I also then take that and collaborate with others? So it's not just me making a decision in a siloed environment, but it's an extreme analysis of the data and what decisions that I should be making. It's something that has been evolving over the last 15 years in self-service, where now we're at the point where it's really, how do I then take this data and not only use it internally, but also monetize it externally as well? And I'll just say that about 30% of our customers are taking the augmented analytics approach and sharing it with their customers as well and monetizing it, because it gives them the ability to improve customer service on top of expanding their brand and their customer base.
Awesome. Mike, how about you?
It's rare that I can say anything better than Brian, so I'll pretty much leave it at that. I think to the point, it was heavily attended. The feedback was good. We of course in marketing we get all the details on what were the session scores and things like that. And at some point I'm gonna have to get Joe a nice gift for continuing to do these things and knocking them out of the park for us. But attendance was awesome, session was awesome, and the feedback scores were pretty phenomenal on them as well.
I have to say, I'm glad this is recorded because this is my first compliment from Mike. So I'm glad this is recorded. Just to
session isn't over yet, right? All right, so you guys hit upon something that's certainly key: augmented analytics. Let's talk a little bit about that. We're talking about smart insights, automated insights, chatbots, natural language generation, natural language query, all of this capability for a business user, especially a non-technical business user. You're making it easy for me to get the insights I'm looking for. That ties direct in to my next topic, if you will, which will be the Gartner MQ, right? Gartner MQ came out, Gartner Critical Capabilities came out. What are the key takeaways that you want people to know about the Magic Quadrant and the critical capabilities?
Yeah, so for me, I think, and I'm sure someone on the team is probably going to drop this in the chat as we're talking, in case you do want to, here is a shameless plug, download them, MQ and critical capabilities. We'll drop the link in the chat here. But I think one is, we moved into Visionary. That's a pretty big move. Brian and I actually worked together at another company where we had a big move before, and it's an exciting time. And into Visionary from where we were was we think a pretty big move. And I think that there's a lot of reasons for that. One is the technology is insanely innovative. And I think just over the past couple of years, our ability to penetrate and get attention in the marketplace certainly helped our momentum. So just movement into Visionary is huge. I think, Kristen, you say this well, the MQ is a good executive summary, but the critical capabilities is kind of like the better report from a product perspective. I think if we just look at critical capabilities, what is it, 1124, right? So 2 number ones ranked, number 2 and a number 4. So from a product perspective, I personally think critical capabilities from a marketing and demand generation perspective is a game changer for us, because it really shows the value that we add to a business technologically.
Excellent. How about you, Brian? What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The MQ, the critical capabilities, it was a bummer that it wasn't released at the North America conference, just because of the attendees have historically had that. It'll be great that the London analytics event by Gartner will be able to have the MQ as kind of their centerpiece, as well as their critical capabilities. So excited to see how London reacts to that. But obviously with our move, we're very proud of what we've been able to accomplish, thanks to the partners and customers that have also recognized through the Gartner peer reviews that we, are the up and coming platform in the analytics space. So, happy to be a part of that journey. That's for sure. But every year there's some changes to it, right? And it's been a while since they've had a drastic change in the MQ. I just, kind of reading the tea leaves a little bit, I kind of maybe foresee another large change coming in the next 2 years as well. This is recorded, so this is predicted, hopefully, and hopefully that also comes true. But I do sense that there is just a large change coming from the customers up. That's really driving the need for just a different way to do analytics, and we'll see if that actually rings true. But it's exciting to be a journey of it. That's for sure. So.
And for the audience who's not familiar with the critical capabilities, Gartner puts together, I think there's about 12 capabilities themselves, which are feature function that the different vendors are evaluated on. And then there's 4 use cases. Man, the camera, 4. And what was interesting about this year, right, guys, is that it was persona-based, not function-based. In the past, it was visual self-service analytics, augmented analytics, general analytics, and enterprise analytics. And this year, it had to do with 4 unique use cases, which was the business analyst, the augmented consumer, the data scientist, and the analytics developer. And to Mike's point, right, hashtag 1124, Pyramid did smashingly well. I wouldn't even say smashingly well. We kicked butt and took names. It was that good. And certainly, if you're interested in that, we're going to point you to the right direction at the end of the call. So let me ask you guys, and whether this is true. Again, I wasn't at the show, but I understand that, is this true that Gartner was actually sending their customers of the show to our booth based upon what we can do? Brian, Mike?
Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we from a booth perspective, we had a fair bit of traffic that came directly from Gartner, which was great to see. So thank you, Gartner, for recognizing the customers' problems that they had with analytics and driving them to our booth for us to kind of figure out how to solve their problems for them. It was a packed booth for us for the 2.5 days. Again, for me, all these times going to these conferences, our booth, I think we did roughly, 650 demos, I believe, to, various organizations over the course of, 2.5 days. You break that down to, roughly around 17 hours of booth time. And, it was a packed booth for us the entire time. So, analytics, again, has always been a large market, and it's also in a rapidly increasing market. So let's see what London brings as well for the analytics community, but it should be a thriving event as well for us here in a couple of weeks.
I think it's a good validation that the use cases that we believe we can help with are being validated, right? So we're seeing that when analysts are sending people over because they have a use case that we can absolutely fill, it's a good validation of that, right? I think the biggest challenge I'm going to have post-event is the forthcoming budget call I have to have with our CFO, Oz, where I have to have a discussion about how much money we had to spend on all the swag that we gave away. But that's a whole other issue that I'll have to deal with then. But yeah, it was a breakneck pace at the booth.
Just don't forget your friends here, okay?
I'll get you some swag.
Thank you. It's I'm excited, about this whole the MQ that came out and the critical capabilities report. It's a great time to be working at Pyramid. I mean, boy, what we can provide for the customers, right, is just amazing. And when you think about the industry stats around adoption rate still being very low, I think Gartner's number is less than 35%. I know Bark came out with a study last year saying it was around 15%. The majority of the people in organizations are non-technical. They're looking for answers. They're not looking for tools. They're not looking for tech. They want an answer delivered to them in an easy-to-use way, and that's where we shine, especially with those 2 use cases that we rank number 1. So question 4, I'm going to throw this just to Brian. For somebody not familiar with Pyramid Analytics, Brian, why Pyramid? Why should they engage with Pyramid?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the very highest level, from an analytics perspective, we reduce our customers' total cost of ownership by roughly around 30%, right? And the reason for that is because analytics historically has been delivered with a combination of, on average, 6 different tools to go from raw data to end user consuming it. For us, that entire process is Pyramid, right? So we're a platform that sits both on-prem and in the cloud. So as organizations are migrating to the cloud and that whole journey, we can go along that journey and really help future-proof their analytics story as they grow as an organization.
Excellent. Awesome. I love it. We've got a couple of minutes left, guys. I want to just mix it up because I want people to see the personal side of both of you.
This scares me, Mike.
Yeah, you should be scared.
Chris
because
with Chris, you never know.
I mean, is this the part where you ask me for hairstyle tips, Chris? Because that's not going to go well.
No, we're going to go a little deeper than that, Mike. Right. You know, I was a big fan of Inside the Actors Studio. James Lipton used to host a program on Bravo, and he would ask the same questions to the celebrities that he would interview. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit, but I'm going to start with Mike. Mike, what is your favorite word?
I don't know if I can say it on this. It's
your favorite word.
Geez, that's I don't know. Lately, as of now, serendipitous.
Serendipitous. That's nice. That's very good. I like that. All right, Brian, how about you? What's your favorite word?
You know, this is a good example of marketing using a 5-syllable word. And I can't even pronounce or read a 5-syllable word, actually. So, gosh, favorite word. Gosh, I'm going to go with probably baseball, because if I say baseball, that means I'm probably going and doing something with the kids that I like, or going and watching baseball. So,
very good. I like it. I like it a lot. Mike, what sound or noise do you love to hear? Yeah, I asked.
All right. So this is probably a bit corny, but you guys know I've got a 5-year-old named Zach, and my wife is out with him right now. She went to the Children's Museum in Dover, New Hampshire, and she sent me some videos. And probably the thing that I like hearing the most is when he experiences something for the first time, and you guys with kids know this, that full belly laugh that they get, where it's the most genuine laughing and excitement. That is probably my favorite sound in the world, to be honest with you.
How about you, Brian?
Yeah, you know what? That is a good sound. That's for sure. The baby belly laugh. That's definitely a good one. But thankfully, I don't hear those much anymore as well around our house at the same time. For me, though, I would say favorite sound that I enjoy. I'm going to probably say the hiss of a beer bottle opening, maybe.
Like it a lot.
Can I change
Very
my
original.
Answer? Can I change my answer to Brian?
No, you cannot. The world already heard about you with the laughter. Sorry, my friend.
God, I get all sensitive.
Mike, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
What profession other than my own would I like to attempt? So quite honestly, I really wish that I had, pursued a path, at least for a period of time, to become a military helicopter pilot. So there you go.
Nice. How about you, Brian?
I'll tell you, I truly love the job. Like, my wife says it's my healthiest addiction that I have, probably, is, doing software and building companies. I don't consider it healthy sometimes, but it's a whole nother problem. Other profession for me, probably an F1 race car driver, actually.
Cole Trickle, look at you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. Last question, guys. We're almost out of time. What profession would you never attempt to do, Mike?
Politics.
Whoa. Okay. How about you, Brian? What profession?
Full-time mom. Never do it.
Definitely the hardest. By far the hardest. For folks that have kids and you've never done the Mr. Mom for a small period of time, that is hard work. Very hard work, let alone full-time. Awesome, guys. This was fun. I want to thank you both for joining us today for Analytics Unplugged. We're excited to have this series continuing. For folks that are interested in more information about Pyramid and the Decision Intelligence platform, you can visit us on the web at pyramidanalytics.com. There's an events page. We do a lot of virtual and live events. If you'd like to attend one, we'd love for you to sign up as well. We talked a lot about Gartner, guys. The Gartner Magic Quadrant, as well as the Gartner Critical Capabilities Report for 2023, are both available off our website. So if you go to pyramidanalytics.com, I believe the very first page will be promoting the MQ, and then the next page automatically that appears will be talking about critical capabilities. You can download either one. But I want to thank you for your time today. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Mike. Looking forward to seeing you soon. And hopefully you got some insight today from Pyramid Analytics. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Chris.